Good morning, everyone. I'm a little concerned. I guess you'll have to let me know if this continues to be a problem. The stream was like a big time struggling for a minute there. I just stopped and restarted OBS, and it's not doing it anymore, as far as I can tell. But I am like abnormally far behind. The stream delay is like 7 or 8 seconds, and typically it's not that bad. So I'm a little concerned. But good morning, everyone. Hope you're all having a good whatever it is, wherever you are. Trying to catch up a bit. Let's give it. Yeah, I'm guessing that the birthdays give a lot of progress. Yeah, welcome everyone. I hope you've all enjoyed the 2 videos that came out today. I mean, I say that like it's something big, but they're about the length of one of my average videos, so not really. Welcome everyone. I don't have any particular plans for this stream. I just kind of wanted to go live for a little bit to mess around and talk about some stuff. Especially with, I don't know, typically when I release stuff, I like to have an opportunity to, talk with people, I guess, about them in a more, like, one-on-one way, sort of. Because I will say this, something I feel really stupid about, a comment I've already received a fair few times that's totally fair. I didn't include anything about Zata's Whisper or Lycath's Hunt, which is strange to me because I had builds for 2 of them, or for both of them, and, like, you'd think I would have remembered to say something. But, nope, I completely forgot. So that was my bad, but it's reminded me that I need to double check that stuff in the future videos. The way that this is going to work, and part of why I have it as like a playlist, is that if I ever need to make any major changes, I'll be able to edit it, like by just like remaking the video or adding stuff to it and re-uploading it if ever necessary. So my current plan is that if I ever end up in a situation where I have to remake the video for anything, I'll just include that stuff in like a 2.0 version, but for the time being, it's not like I'm gonna be too upset about it. I just feel like an idiot because I had things for both of those and didn't bring either of them up. But yeah, welcome everyone. Let me get this done real quick here. I'll have to get my game audio set to not mute when running in background so that when I alt-tab doesn't make the stream lose audio suddenly. So today's live reaction was brought to you by the man, the myth, the legend himself, John Warframe, Blueprint. Posted a small dump of reaction images in my server, and I've just kind of been using them. So that's who gave us this. So yeah, like I said, we're just going to kind of talk about some stuff. If anyone has any questions or anything like that about any of the... Well, really anything. Okay, that's too broad. Anything Warframe related. Not just anything. That's too much. Feel free to ask. And we've also got Nitro here. He won't answer anything Warframe related because he's stupid. But that's... Anyways, yeah, when it comes to the actual value chemistry that you get from things, I'm actually not entirely sure. I don't know if we have official values on that, but... State of the world? Nope, I already backtracked and said you could only do Warframe-related things. Sorry. Have you had with the Hex? Honestly, a lot of the conversations with the Hex have been incredibly interesting. I don't really want to spoil anything for people who want to get through it themselves, but a lot of them have been really cool. Who would you like to see as a proto-frame next? Honestly, Loki. I'm very surprised he wasn't one, but I don't think we're going to get more proto-frames, and the reason for that is fairly simple. They are all incredibly complex. Like, as characters, I don't know how you would write another proto-frame into the game, genuinely. I don't know if they could do that. I feel like if I had to pick, like, top 2, I want Loki and Ember to have proto-frames. I think that both of them could be very cool, but... just do them as skins. Well, they're still voiced, and a big part of the appeal of the skins is that your relationship does affect their dialogue and stuff like that. So I feel like if they were going to make more proto-frames, how do you integrate them? Because then you'd also have to have lines and stuff from all the other existing proto-frames about the new ones, too, right? Like, it's a fairly complicated ordeal to just insert another character into an existing clique. and use the emote they have. I saw a video, like, it's a lot. There's also a lot of lines, like, so for those who don't know, once you're dating a Hex member, you can actually have them show up in your back room, and they have, like, I watched a video of Eleanor, she has, like, 50 or 60 lines that are exclusive to her being in the back room, and honestly, not even that many of them. Like, sure, a fair few of them only make sense in the context of you dating, but she has interesting insights into things that are nothing like that, like talking about how she wonders if you could have saved Rusalka, and it's stuff like that that I think is really interesting. Then again, she also has the freaky shit. Like, if you, like, you have two options when you talk to them. You have what's on your mind, and then I'm glad that we're together. And one of the dialogue things that Eleanor has when he said I'm glad that we're together is she just responds, you only love me for my prehensile tongue. So that's normal, and a thing that would definitely be said in a normal circumstance. Making Trotty a new batch with a new ultimatum. I feel like that's kind of rehashy, though, isn't it? Like, I don't know. I feel like, does it not kind of diminish the, like, the gravity of things, I guess? I feel like just redoing it over again with a new crew of 6 kind of just feels like we're doing the same thing over again. Quincy trauma dumped me today. Yeah, the same thing happened to me. I've gotten pretty far in a lot. Like, I think I finished the, like, Letty story arc, so to speak. And I've also gotten pretty far into Quincy and Amir's. And I think that I'm done with Arthur's, too. I feel like, weirdly enough, Aoi and Eleanor haven't told me that much. But I've seen from, like, conversations that, like, Nitro and whatnot have had, is that it seems kind of random in terms of, like, who you're gonna talk to about what at what times. The conversations are not all the same thing. But there's new proto-frames in the wall. I mean, that's possible, but then again, having an entirely new crew, if it, like, supplants the old one, could also be kind of shitty if you, like, wanted to interact with the old ones. I don't know. Like, I would be down for them adding new proto-frames, but I feel like the amount of effort that it would take for them to make new ones is probably just going to kind of put it out of the question. Yeah, I will say, in that conversation, I told him other people might play it, and had a really interesting, like, sort of dev self-insert moment with Amir talking about making a game that other people can play, and I think his exact line was, like, even worse, they'll form opinions about it. And he had this interesting back and forth about, like, he's not afraid of people who are, like, would troll him or criticize him in bad faith. He's afraid of the people that actually make good points about why his game is bad. And it's like, damn. I wonder if Steve himself wrote this. Wish the OG8 had proto-frames. Honestly, I do kind of wish that... I don't know. I feel like... Okay, this is going to sound really weird, but does anyone else feel like the original 8 Warframes kind of don't hold as much, like... How do I put this? Like, cultural relevance in Warframe, I guess? Like, I feel like the original 8 aren't referenced that often. I think there is... Actually, I might have it. There's some... Yeah, this, there was a display. This isn't this one, but there was a display, I think, released around Empyrean that contains all 8 of them. I don't know if I have it in my orbiter or not, but I do think that if memory serves... I just feel like it's kind of weird, because, like, a lot of games really hold on to their original cast, and, you know, make a point to kind of emphasize... Like, look at, like, Street Fighter, for example, right? Where Street Fighter always has, like, some of the fundamental cast. I feel like it's kind of weird that Warframe doesn't really seem to give a shit about its original 8 characters. The 3 starters they do play favorites towards, but not the original 8 as a whole. There's the heirloom skins, that's true, but those are coming out fairly slowly. I'm also surprised Excalibur hasn't gotten one, but that's besides the point.
Honestly, I was surprised he wasn't the fucking first.
Also, weird thing about that, Frost was one of the first heirlooms. He was not an original 8 cast member.
Yeah, like,
Frost, I think, was, like, update 2 or 3. He was not an original 8 cast member. The original 8, let me see if I can remember this off the top of my head. It was Excalibur, Mag, and Volt, obviously. Loki, Ash, Trinity, Rhino, and Ember, I think. Was update 5. Okay, yeah, it was further out than I thought. I didn't play the game at the time, so I played the game late 2014. Cytonem was indeed an original. Yeah, Cytonem was one of the original 8 Warframes. We all just collectively forgot. We do have Umbra. Umbra is not exactly a skin, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, he has made it. Technically, he has skin.
Weird Umbra never gets talked about in the Hex chats. I agree, especially because there's certain chats about transference, specifically from Quincy, about how he finds it weird to think about that you're piloting a dead person. I don't know why we don't bring up Umbra in that conversation at all. He seems very relevant.
Honestly, yeah.
We have 6 frames needing protos, because yeah, Nyx, I think, came out in the same update as Frost. Was from 1990, therefore one of the originals. His lore was that he was never finished, if memory serves, was that he was in development when the Orokin Empire collapsed, which means that even in the canon, he wouldn't have been an original, because other frames were made before him. He was really near the end of that, and it seems like Albrecht brought Site 09's, like, concept. Let me have this? No. Fuck you, Red Pixel.
Yeah, you specific Red Pixel, fuck.
Pregnant frame? Yeah, this shit gets weird.
Yeah.
Can you invade your... I'm guessing you meant to say, can I invade your personal space, silly style? What does that mean, Phoenix? What do you mean, silly style? I think you mentioned... I said, I've been trying to stay on top of this. I won't show anything. Well, actually, if I click on this, no, right, it'll just show this. There's a lot of conversations that I've had so far, and I've been trying to stay on top of them because, like, legitimately start throwing things real and true. Also, yeah, I think it is fun that Arthur and Eleanor are siblings. I also just like the subtle Easter, or like, subtle detail that Arthur's name is Arthur, and he's Excalibur. I do appreciate that. Orkin didn't want an assassin public. I mean, not necessarily. The Scoria were so public you could just fucking join them, apparently.
Like, you mean the fucking quote-unquote military that's in fucking, what's this place called?
No, the Scoria is from, hold on. Yeah, the Orkin created a Warframe that marries damage and stealth to eliminate sensitive problems, but he disappeared in the chaos of their demise. All that remains is a batch named Site 09.
As ready as you will ever be.
The sword and the stone, yeah. Honestly, Arthur's Gemini emote goes fucking crazy. I love this emote. It's so cool. I genuinely wish that that there was a way to use this emote without turning into Arthur, because I just want to do it because it looks cool. I missed out on it. Grim. The season change is also supposed to be every week. It's just that winter was extended by like 3 days because the update dropped during, like, in the middle of the week, right? It was on a Thursday or Friday, I think. I think it was on a Friday. So yeah, they extended it a few days. Because they didn't...
I was the one I give the fucking scooter to, right?
Yes. Owie wants the scooter for spare parts. But yeah, I found the like, genuinely, I like to log on and have the like, I get excited with the things for the proto frames.
Hell yeah.
What's going on? My streams, if you like, I'll say this, YSR games. I'm not sure if you've watched any of my normal videos. Hello, bro. Oh no, Phoenix is gonna invite me, bro. I'm scared, Phoenix. What do you mean I'm going to touch you? What? What the fuck does this mean? Have any lines about Colorbo? Not that I've gotten, and I feel like it's weird that, like, again, Umbra, and you know, that's a good point. Why is Colorbo not brought up at all either? We are freaky the zombies. Real and true, Phoenix. Real and true. Anyways, as I was saying, I don't know if they're even still here about YSR games. If you watch my regular videos, I'm sorry. My streams are nothing like my regular videos. I am infinitely more psychotic. You just think it's the old design? I guess I haven't really paid a lot of attention. In the R5 Hex group chat. Yeah, that is true. I'll admit I wish I picked Rotten Lives, because I like the other two songs, but not as much as that one. Okay, I need to... On the Skibbity... I don't know why you would... I don't know. I don't play Fortnite. I don't really give a shit. But not Umbra or Curlerbo. Yeah, actually, I think that's true. They do bring up Citrine, like, offhandedly. I don't know. I feel like it's really weird to me. When are we getting the shitpost video of Quincy shooting JFK? That's going to come eventually, but it's not currently, like, on the docket. Any of the direct members except him. That's just because Arthur locks in. D&D reminder. This is true. The Amagus is here. I did forget to go on D&D. Thank you. On quest before the 9/11 quest. Nice. What do you... Okay. I was like, well, he just misspelled 1999, but no, that's not even close. What do you mean, the 9/11 quest?
It's... I mean, shit, that isn't 2 years.
You're getting a rework to Zaws and Kit Guns. I guess I don't entirely know why you'd ask me, as I don't work on the game. I don't feel like they are in need of a rework, personally, but... Drifter mentions Nidus? That's interesting. Also, I don't actually know if you can purchase and use the skins before the quest. He might have been a deadbeat dad in another life. I'm considering writing jokes into that, about that in his stance section. Yes, you do. Yeah, I do actually make Warframe. The 1993 went well in the staff chat. I respect that. We went back to the year 199. You can person use them pre-quest? That's kind of funny.
Well, now.
We must serve Allah Drifter. What the fuck? Did you get all the other glyphs? Actually, no, I haven't done the rest of the Accolade glyphs. I've been thinking about saving them for a stream. Maybe we'll get a couple of them on this one. I don't know. Like, they're definitely fun to pursue, but it is also kind of, like, taxing, I guess, mentally to, you know, go through the stress of putting yourself in a difficult boss fight like that multiple times in a row. You know, Drifter wouldn't know of it. I'm not entirely sure which one you're referring to. I guess I haven't really thought of it. Merry Christmas. Thank you for the 10, the goober. I'll have to repay your charity by actually making videos, considering you give me money each month as a channel member, to the back room. I don't know. There's something about the Orbiter that's just, like, it's too familiar. I just can't part with it. It's been a thing for too long. Like your CC is dead video. I mean, I have, like, a lot of my content is fairly long form already. Like, is DR dead? And, the Overguard video is pretty long. The current content plan, I guess I'll let you all in on this. The current content plan for me is I want to try and release one Exalted Weapon video every week until the series is finished, which is fairly ambitious, and I don't know if I'll actually be able to pull it off. But this project has kind of, like, haunted me for a long time, and I want to just finally finish it. And so my goal is to just, like, that's what the channel will be for a while. And you're welcome to disagree with that. If that's not what you want to watch for, you know, my apologies. And I do plan on doing more stuff like that in the future, in terms of, like, long-form content. But I think that, also, Pseudo-Exalteds will be part of the series. They'll be after it, and honestly, they're probably going to be the most complicated part of it, because there is so much weird shit that goes into them. I do know about the Protector Ancient. I haven't messed with it enough to form, like, a full opinion on it, though. I have no choice but to use it. I mean, I respect that. I do respect that. But yeah, with the... Also, welcome, Skunky. So the thing is, with the Exalted Weapon series, my hope is by the end of January, the melees will be done, and then I will get into what will probably be the most difficult one to make, in terms of the regular Exalteds, Razor Wing, because Razor Wing is 2 weapons and the Razor Flies, and the Razor Flies are complicated as fuck for no reason, but... because my plan is to do Titania as kind of a transition between the melee part and the gun part of the series, and then we'll go through the guns, we'll do the mechs, we'll do Garuda's Talons as like a footnote at the end of it, because they're not really an Exalted, but they have some weird properties that are similar, like they can attack enemies through the rift and other weird stuff like that. And then pseudo-exalteds, and then my plan for the series is at the end, I want to have a final video called Odds and Ends, which is just a bunch of stuff that isn't really an exalted weapon, but has interesting properties, like how Ashes 4 is affected by melee attack speed, Vauban's mines are affected by Arcane Arachne, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Does not make spreadsheets to play the game. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I think that the problem... I don't think Warframe needs a rework to modding, honestly. I think ultimately the problem with it is kind of two different things. Certain information is not explained. Really, actually, this is just things not being explained in two different ways. Things aren't explained in terms of, like, how to get the most out of your mods, but then there's also the element that a lot of buffs and things like that are not explained either. Like, here's actually a good example of this, okay? Well, I guess we'll talk about this real quick. So, let me go... My default loadout, I think, is still the one I was using for filming. Yeah, it is. So, Chroma. Pull up Chroma. You look at Vex Armor, right? You see how Vex Armor says damage increase, and it's a percentage. Okay? So, it's 275% at base. Okay, let's go to Mirage. Mirage says it's 200% damage increase. Okay, so you'd think then, well... Chroma's is better than Mirage's, because the game doesn't tell you that even though these are both shown as a percent, they work completely differently, and Mirage's is actually much better. Yeah. And the thing that confuses me about this being a problem is they made a change, I think it was earlier this year, for Bane mods to show them as a multiplier. Like, this is a good way to fix this problem, in my opinion, especially if they add, like, certain things like the Elementalist mods have this really great feature. Yeah, these pop-up tooltips, if they did something like this to clarify when a mod or something was added with base damage versus a final multiplier, that would be great. And I think this could also be used to explain other niche mechanics as well. But it feels like they're taking steps in the right direction with the new stuff, but there's certain things I think that are old that need to have this treatment done, because status damage showing this is great. The problem is there's a bunch of fundamental stuff that you would build before you ever even get to this point that doesn't explain anything. And so it's like, well, yeah, this information's useful, but all the other shit, you know, up to this point isn't going to be explained to you. And I think that's kind of like the status duration mods. I actually don't know if they ever added a tooltip to status duration. I would assume they probably haven't. No, they haven't. That one's a bit more self-explanatory, though, I feel like. But I feel like I don't know, the biggest issue is that the game doesn't communicate certain things correctly. And the entire game might be better. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. No. Making everything additive would blanket nerf every item in the game. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Big time.
Like, destroy everything, it feels like.
Being its own term on exactly one augment. Yeah, it's especially because, like, Arcane Avenger's final crit chance, Cat's Eye is final crit chance. They never bring that up. I think they use final... I think Crepuscular has final critical multiplier on it. Yeah, final critical multiplier. So, like, there's stuff like this that shows that they're aware of the problem and are putting some work into it, but it still feels like they need to go back and do the old stuff. So Gerudo will be in the Exalted series. Go tell this directly to Pablo. Dude, I wish I would have some way. It kind of upsets me that the only person in the community Pablo was willing to talk to is Brozime. I would love to talk to him. Just to, like, get his opinion on certain things or ask about the way the game is built, but just feel worthless. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that... I feel like a lot of mods feeling worthless is because there's... Okay, let me put it this way. See how I have 84,000 total mods in here? 82,000 of these are duplicates, but that would imply that I have roughly 1,500 unique mods. I have 8 mod slots on any given item. There's so many mods and just not enough room to slot them. And DE's tried to approach this problem with, like, I think a good example of this that I think kind of messed up. This right here. The Exilus slot was a decent idea, but it's so restrictive it hardly matters.
Yeah.
Have a good stream. Thanks for stopping by, Seth. But I don't know. I feel like the main issue is that, like, a lot of... Okay, this is going to be considered probably a very weird take, and you're entirely welcome to disagree with this, but I think there are certain stats that are so mandatory, it might be better if we either move the mandatory stats out of the modding system or expand the modding system in the direction of stats that are not mandatory. For example, things like multi-shot and base damage, generally speaking, are always going to be on a weapon, and the problem is that it doesn't matter, if you want to use a certain mod that, like, for comfort, you have to sacrifice something that gives you damage, because there's so many mods that give you damage. And I think that, like, there are kind of a few ways you could go about this. I remember I read a comment, or like a forum post years ago about this, that was really interesting to me, where someone suggested kind of bringing back the old skill tree system, but specifically for stats like damage. Basically making it so that you would have, like, you would get a resource to upgrade your weapon's damage, and damage mods would be removed from the game entirely. And I feel like, I don't know if that would be, I feel like it just would be more confusing. Like, having one consolidated modding system is probably for the best, but I think it would be nice if, like, we had expanded mod slots for utility mods, because Exilus mods are a good step in the right direction. They're just way too restrictive to be useful, and modding is generally so tight already that it's not entirely unfeasible that you won't have the room to fit a mod that is entirely for comfort unless you put like 2 more forma on your weapon, and at that point, like, I'm not fucking doing that. If I want steady aim on, or like steady hands on my gun, I don't want to mod it or like format it twice for a recoil reduction.
And the thing is, you have to fucking, maybe that's their fucking intended thing, but like, this means you also have to sacrifice making your gun better for making your gun more comfortable to use, or like, you know, a set that you want that's not, you know, the optimal damage or some shit, because there's optimal shit you have to do, you can do. Like, there are a lot of mods that I want to use in this game, but I feel like I'm still just railroaded into like a lot of the same sort of shit, because otherwise I lose out on so much fucking shit that my gun just can't deal with.
I'm just catching up on things. I also will say, in terms of Steel Path Arcanes, Steel Path Arcanes being a power check, I don't think is necessarily a bad thing, because nothing prior to the Steel Path warrants having them. I don't know, this game pre-Steel Path, if you even understand it, like, slightly, is boringly easy. I feel like a lot of the difficulty of the early game comes from not knowing what you're supposed to do, but that's kind of an issue in and of itself, right? Primarily, people... Like, it's funny, because after I made my new player experience video, I played with my friend Lucy and her girlfriend. We only played this game, like, once or twice, but it was funny because it kind of, like, it was very validating to play with them and feel like I had my points in those videos proven, because Lucy was struggling with Vox Solaris, which it's been nerfed, like, twice, but it's still a fairly difficult quest, especially the MOA electric procs will just absolutely eat you alive. And so I was like, okay, Lucy, show us what mods you have on. And she pulled it up, and she used auto-install. And her girlfriend who was playing with us was like, yeah, I just use auto-install too, right? I assume it does its job well. And it's like, they need to just remove the auto-install button from the game. Like, at this point, I'm serious.
Unironically, it's just fucking hurting people, because it's so bad. Like, you can either make it do the fucking mandatory mods, or you can make it just remove it. You have to do one or the other, because it's a noob trap.
Here's the problem, right? Auto-install has been reworked to be more intelligent, but auto-install can't level your mods for you. So a lot of people will just have, like, a bunch of random shit get thrown on there, and they don't know that they need to upgrade it. The game will tell them that they can do this. I think it might be a part of, the onboarding, even, is to upgrade a mod to some capacity, but it's never revisited. I feel like even though auto-install has been changed to be better, it's just not good enough. I don't feel like there's any good way to do it, honestly. Something I think would be a great change, and this will be another take people might find weird, but if you've played Deadlock, Deadlock has this great system where you can share builds with the community in-game. You can post your build, explain how it works. Basically, what if we took Warframe and just made it part of the game? I think Warframe is full of idiots, but I still think it would be better than the current system if you could post builds in, like, an in-game repository where people can find them. Because in the current state, you're told basically nothing, and you kind of have to rely on your own intuition. Like, for me, I've been playing this game for ages. If I see a gun, like Reconifex, for example, I didn't need to look up a build guide for it. I played the game long enough to see what stats it wants and to be able to work around that. But if you're a newer player and you don't know what stats a weapon values because you don't have the eye for it, that sucks. So, like, here,
Yeah.
let's talk about something. Cyto 9, does he have this? He does not, actually. Okay, well, we can talk about this with Excalibur, because I know he does. They added this. You see this? Community customizations. You know what would be great? What if, when I went to a modding screen, there was a little thing that said community configs, and I could look through a massive list of in-game configs people had posted for other people to use, along with some kind of ability to textually describe why they use certain things. I think that would be a huge help to alleviating the problem, especially because you could, like, Deadlock kind of has this too, but in Deadlock, you can separate your builds for different tiers in the game, because Deadlock has multiple phases. You have, like, you know, the early game, the mid game, and the late game, and you can split them up into those different tiers. I think it'd be great if there was a community tool for organizing things based on what you have access to. So, like, check a toggle for things that you only mods you have are allowed to be in the builds that you look at, for example, or only mods before a certain point. Like, you can uncheck galvanized mods showing up because you're not at arbitrations yet, or uncheck weapon arcanes showing up because you're not at that point yet. I think it would be really valuable if we would be able to have a tool like that where people in the community would be able to share those types of things for newer players to view in-game. Wants to encourage engaging with community with things that are different these days. I think the main problem is that, like, there's a lot of community resources, but they're not in the game, and most players will not interact with anything beyond what's in the game.
Honestly, yeah.
Use ghost mods in the simulacrum. I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that, to be perfectly honest. Unless you mean, like, removing the drain limit so you can experiment without having to mess with things. Struggle with the modding system? Most people do. Even many players, like, a very long ways into the game, still do. Such as given item wants. I'm gonna be honest with you, Evelyn, this is going to be the most dog shit take I've ever espoused, but it's genuinely true. It's almost like a vibes-based thing. Like, look at Recon Effects. I pull it up. Okay, Recon Effects is an automatic rifle with a really high crit chance and critical multiplier and an okay status chance. This is the stat I'm pursuing, and then you go from there. Temporary max mods you don't own but can test with them? Oh, that makes sense.
That would be actually really cool, honestly, yeah.
There's also, like, certain unique weapon things to consider. I just noticed that I never changed my Recon Effects as a color scheme to look correct. Whoops.
Otis wonders, how do you do it, operator?
Oh, why
I'm gonna be honest, Ortis. I don't.
the fucking Cyto 9 shoulder plate location is not actually on the arms, it's on the fucking, like, overcoat looking thing he has, and that
Yeah, it's a
fucks.
little strange.
Yeah, I don't like that. I guess the frock does work with it, but, like, eh.
It is usually worth
Look,
building
okay,
for.
the EOS ones actually go on the arm for some reason. Nothing else is going on the arm.
I see numbers and my Brian turns off. Oh, is my stream dying again, or is my preview just lagging? I guess someone let me know if the stream is starting to struggle again. I do not know what is causing that.
The Gaza plate goes down
But
as well.
I think that the, I don't know. This stream has been live for almost 40 minutes, and I've not actually played the game yet. But I feel like, also I agree, Phoenix, they should make a Syrinx Prime armor set. But I feel like, with the new player video, a lot of my main criticisms have actually either been somewhat addressed or moving towards being addressed. And I plan, once they go through and finish that stuff up, I'm going to make a follow-up video about it. Because they've given us, at the start now, I think 5 more slots for weapons in total. They give you 3 out of the gate, and then you get Boltor and Fragor, and they come with slots now. And then you get 1 more Warframe slot. I will admit, not nearly as much as I wanted. At the same time, I understand that there is one major piece of information I don't have access to that DE does, and that's how much money they make from selling those things.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if that was something they were trying to sort of keep in mind in terms of, like, this is how much we make from this, how much can we give to players without it cutting so much more bottom line it's problematic. But I also feel like with with the... I'm sorry, I'm having a fucking brain aneurysm because I was reading something in chat mid-thought, and now I'm just losing it.
Mood.
This is the problem with community configs. I'll say this, having some material in-game for how to mod is better than no material, even if I think the majority of the player base is stupid.
Everything is almost certainly better than nothing, honestly. I'll even say that much.
Yeah, the new player experience thing. So they've also said that they're planning on making a few more Warframes like Kome, and that they only will have a day crafting times. Still not the blanket reduction I wanted, but again, they have access to information I don't. Would be even worse. Let me put it this way. If you're a new player, I think Overframe is still a better resource than zero instruction. Even if I think that at some level... Like, how do I put this? There is a skill ceiling to knowing how to mod that is very, very high. The majority of the player base will not need to reach that ceiling, and I guess even kind of beyond that shouldn't be expected to. I think if you're a new player, if you're a new player and you're playing the game, having access to some in-game resource would probably be better than no resources because some people are stupid. Not community builds. Do you trust the developers to put a curated build for every single weapon in the game? I feel like it's one of those things where community builds is the simplest solution, especially because, like, Deadlock, the example I used, you can upvote and downvote builds. So if a build sucks, you can just downvote it, and then it'll appear lower in the rankings.
Unless they
But something else, I guess, if you have a proposed alternative to the community thing, then feel free to make it known. But if you're... I guess if the criticism is this won't work, but you don't know what would, then I'm not entirely willing to accept it. I'm trying to outline why I think this is something that is not a perfect, but a potential solution. Proper complete modding guide. The modding system is so complex that I feel like if they were going to have an in-game modding guide... I guess there's two issues in my view with having a... Because I do think there should be an in-game modding guide. I completely agree with you on that. I feel like the problem is if that's the only resource, it is such a complicated topic, you can't expect players to sit through it. Like, let me level with you all on something. People, especially Warframe players, are lazy as shit. They don't want to work for things a lot of the time, and that's completely fair. There's plenty of shit I don't want to work for. If I played this game casually, I probably wouldn't want to sit through a modding tutorial to learn how to make a weapon work. I'd just want to copy a build from YouTube. And that's why, in Warframe, after all these years, right, build content is still the #1 thing that gets posted about this game. Test the Automa with your max mods. I don't entirely understand what you're asking, Overlord Bunny.
I guess you can see how good it is in like
you just go step by step.
Since you have max rank mods, see if
So,
it actually does them.
Here's the thing. The modding system is very complicated, but the issue is that complication comes in tiers. So, like, if you just start the game, you know what the level of complication is for modding? 3 things. Base damage, so like your serrations of the world, right? Base damage, multi-shot, like split chamber, and elemental mods, right? Like, I don't know, Hellfire, for example. This is the extent of the complication early game. The problem is, once you leave the early game, then you get into things that are more complicated. So, like, once you leave weapons like the Bratton and stuff that have no real usable stats and you just build for damage, well, now you get into crit mods and status chance, and then status chance opens this whole new can of worms. For, like, okay, well, if, you know, we now have status chance, what do all the status effects do? And then you get into Acolyte mods, and now you have buffs that you have to maintain, and then you get into things like Galvanized mods that have stacks, and then Weapon Arcanes, and there's a whole world of stuff with that. I think the problem is, like, the system is so complicated that while I do absolutely think there should be an in-game modding guide, you can't expect that to help everyone, because not many people are going to want to actually read it, because it's naturally such a complicated concept. I think that, like, I don't know, that to me is kind of the concern. I think a staged modding guide is a potential alternative solution. The main concern for me is still you have to strap people down and make them watch it, because they're gonna skip it. I feel like, I don't know.
That's already a big fucking problem in the game industry in total and overall at this point.
Well, yeah. I remember watching Nick play through Duviri, and I was mortified to see him struggle with melee combat when there were prompts on his screen telling him how to complete the segment. Some people just...
That's not good.
They just don't read stuff. And I think that, like, honestly, my suggestion would be, I think that a staged in-game modding guide would be a good solution. but I don't think it would be the only solution, because you have to kind of have some level of idiot proofing built in that it can't tackle, unless they handheld you through literally everything. I don't know. I still think that in-game community builds would be a fairly good idea, and even if they don't implement it, things like Overframe still exist. I do think there comes a point where I would hope you outgrow Overframe, like how I think you should outgrow the community builds. Like, there would come a point, eventually, where if you know enough about the game, you don't need access to that resource anymore, and that's fine, because it's not for you. But I think that for people that it is for, it could be very helpful. The concern there comes in, like, what if people willingly never outgrow the system, right?
Yeah.
I'm just catching up on this a little bit here. And also, yeah, there are a lot of mods that require a shit ton of endo. I do agree with you there. And knowledge would be a big step. I agree. Having something like that in the codex or something would be very helpful. I feel like I said, my concern is you can't idiot proof anything completely, but you can do it so much, right? Like, how do I put this? You can put as many safeguards as possible so that there comes a point where if someone ignores something, it's entirely their fault if they don't get it. Like, if you put a wall of text in front of someone explaining a system, it's not entirely unreasonable that they're not going to read that shit because they don't care. And then same with like having in-game builds, right? They can grab a shit build and not know why it's bad. That's true.
Yeah.
And I feel like there comes a point where it is ultimately on the player if they don't know. If they don't know after all the things that have been put in their series. But it's not flawless. And yeah, I think that a stage modding I would absolutely help. Especially if, like, I don't know, there could be certain triggers for it, but the game gives you a certain mod and then explains a concept related to it after a junction or something. Used to be worse? Yeah, horrifyingly, it used to be worse.
That would used to be horrible.
Maybe look up a guide or something. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like a system like that would... Stagnation is possible, but then it's ultimately on the player. For a community build system, it's ultimately on the player if they never outgrow it. Also, the Kengineer series, I'm not actually sure what you're referring to. Maybe people focus on the stuff. I think it could be good if, say, like, they gave you a... So, like, say, for the sake of argument, right? Say we have a junction, so like a Mercury junction, right? And you know, these junctions yield rewards. I guess I don't know if they show up on Steel Path. See, these junctions yield rewards. Like this one gives you the Boltor. So, say for example, instead of the Boltor, let's make this a weapon with like a workable stat. So say this is Soma, for example. See how it gives me Boltor and then Fast Deflection and Streamline. What if there was some junction that gave me Soma, and then it also gave me Point Strike and Vital Sets? And when I got it, there was some walkthrough or instruction about, hey, here's a stat, here's how the stat works, here are mods that boost the stat. You could have some kind of guided walkthrough with the junction system that could explain that could also be helpful. To be honest, there's a lot of potential solutions to the problem, but it's difficult to kind of narrow down what is the best one. From zero to fragmented one, that's an interesting idea. These videos are super informative. That makes sense. I was considering doing kind of a similar series of like a full game walkthrough, but I haven't gotten around to anything like that yet, because it would be such a massive project, and I don't really know... I thought about doing like more new player-centered stuff, but I kind of had this crisis of like, what is my niche in the Warframe content creation scape, and I don't know if that's it, honestly. Like how Bane mods work, I agree. I like that the tooltip pop-ups on the like Elementalist mods and stuff are great. But your niche's background is mindlessly farm relics. Yeah, I have been relegated to the second monitor content. It's very tragic. I should just like at some point just have no footage for like a part of a video. It's just a black screen. So many people even notice.
Oh, baby, does a Necromech... Oh, no, I think I... Does the, what's it? Necromech, what's the pressure point work with Bone Widows 3, or does that affect it at all, or is that only for,
Yes,
like,
it
the...
does. On launch, it didn't, but they actually did fix it.
Oh, nice, good.
So yeah, is Warframe a wiki game as a good video idea? I feel like the answer to that would be an immediate yes. I think it could be interesting to talk about that topic, though. Here's the tricky thing with discussion videos is, people in a stream at some point, I probably did, honestly, but I think with a video like that, I guess it would kind of be an explanation of, like, what systems require the wiki, because, like, the game has gotten better. There was actually a change made in 1999 that was really valuable. You no longer need... So there is this stupid system. If you went to the Codex, and you went to your... You know, you went to the Codex, went to Universe, went to Mods, and then you hit Incomplete, scroll here, you see these mods that I don't own yet? It used to be that if you didn't own them, they would show up as something blurry, and you wouldn't know how to get them.
Yeah.
And finally, in this update, after this game has been out for nearly 12 years, they unscrambled these and told you where you're supposed to get them, even if you don't own them. I find it a little bit horrifying that it took this long, but this is a good step in the right direction. There's an in-game resource for seeing where these things come from. I wish that we'd have more detail about this stuff, but this is a very good step in the right direction. Have I never actually leveled up my Swift momentum? What?
Oh, Lord, this is...
Use the system, do they? Here's my thing. The Codex is a valuable in-game resource. All they would have to do is tell players it exists. I don't think expanding the Codex is a problem. I never have leveled up a Swift momentum. Okay, I'll just do that real quick to get it off my mind. But yeah, I think that stuff like that is a step in the right direction. Warframe is menus, real and true.
Some days it do feel like it.
That are the backbone of the whole video game. Yeah, it's... I feel like the Codex could also be a good way to expand things too, honestly. So, this kind of all circles back to what I was saying about the new player video. The main things I was trying to address in that video were what I thought were the two biggest problems that every new player is going to encounter in some capacity. You can learn the game, you can learn the game from a friend or something. So the confusing element of the game, while still a problem, is absolutely something that you can get over. But slot limitations and crafting times are much worse because they add a pressure to pay for people who are impatient that can feel like the game is trying to be underhanded.
Yeah.
They are making improvements in that direction, and that's good. And I think that as that's, kind of happening, I do think that the main thing that the game, I would hope, will move into working on more is the lack of a modding explanation. I've considered, and I don't know if there's demand for this. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. But I'm considering at some point making a video that is this, like, I was talking about this earlier, and with the staged modding guide. I feel like I would like to do a video that is that staged modding guide, and to go through everything. The tricky thing is, yeah, videos can become outdated, but I think that a lot of the fundamental information has remained static enough that my hope would be that I would be able to have the fundamentals down, I guess. Already working on that. I feel like I guess I don't know what the extent is, because I already had an outline for this setup. I could probably consult it. But my idea is to split the video into 6 sections, where the sections will be... The first section is fundamentals. It is purely all of the obvious shit, just to make sure it's clear. So, like, what is drain? What is capacity? What are polarities? That kind of information. What categories of mods are there? Shotgun, rifle, pistol, melee, warframe, stuff like that. Then I'd have the beginner section, which is just the 3 things you want to focus on early on, just for damage. Multi-shot, base damage, and elementals. Then there'd be an intermediate section that expands into crit and status, primarily. And I think that, like, that'll be the intermediate section. The advanced section would be kind of, like, expanding on the fundamental concepts of the advanced section. So, like, Acolyte mods and stuff like that, or, like, corrupted mods. Things where it's not as clear-cut, and there are, like, situations where you'd want to use them. Expert would be a section that goes over Steel Path level stuff. So, like, galvanized mods, weapon arcanes, incarnate adapters, adversary weapons, stuff like that. And then Master, the final section, would basically be moving beyond the modding screen of one item in terms of, like, how do you combine multiple things. So, like, heat inherit, primers, stuff like that. I think that having that kind of structure could help a lot, because a lot of, like, something that you see a lot with build videos and things like that is people will show a build and you'll see comments often just saying, I don't have this. And I feel like having a staged thing where it's like, okay, well, this is going to consider the context of where you're at in the game. That's the goal, is to be like, okay, this considers the context of where you are at in the game, what you might not have already, stuff like that. Because I think that's kind of the fundamental goal I'd want to put forward. The thing is, it's such a complicated topic that I don't know how I could ever make something that, like, covers it and the detail I'd want to without it being so overcomplicated it's not helpful, I guess. Also, yeah, feel free to DM me whatever sci-fi, but, and yeah, like, I will say this, certain case-to-case interactions I don't think is the point. Is there a faction weak to Blast? I believe so, actually. You can
Actually, yes.
Hold on. The Murmur is viral and electric.
Wait, I thought it was weak to Blast initially.
You can check this now by doing this. Damage to infested Deimos.
Right, because they switched all this shit around. It used to be, what's it, yeah.
Yeah, you can just hover over a damage type now and it'll tell you. So that's helpful. And what, Nitro, I can send you one. I don't know. Oh, you've sent something in the thing. What kind of potato do you need?
Wait, one potato.
What? Oh, weapon.
Yeah.
I'll just send this to you real quick. I wish I could trade these on the grounds that I have a billion, but... Yay. I wonder if this still gets censored. On it? No one else needs to send him anything.
I almost exited the fucking game because I forgot that the fucking Albania thing isn't in a social space anymore. It's my orbiter.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen eventually.
With the Vom Foss cycle now? I don't... Yeah, they changed that a little while ago, and it is really cool.
Oh.
I think it was
You
with
know, hey,
Tome.
Dave, you want something funny? There's a fucking Catalyst, invasion going on right now.
Top 10 funny Warframe moments. I like how the stream has been up for almost an hour and I haven't actually gotten to playing the game. We've just been talking about things. With the new players and type of mod. I guess when you say Railjack modding menu, do you mean in the way that it's broken up? Where it's like you have integrated battle and tactical? I guess, is that what you're referring to? Where you have like this kind of distinction? This kind of thing honestly could be helpful.
Nothing ever happens to stream. Oh, hey, Tux. So long to load.
Is there from the start of the game now? Yes, actually. And the reason is so you can play the demo at any time. Of modding weapons. Yeah, we've gotten... Radiation and Magnetic have expanded this in an interesting way. It's scary. I think a lot of that is just so that... I don't know... The expanded mod slots I actually think are a cool element of these guys. That just makes them require a billion fucking forma. But remember when these guys launched and they didn't have rank 40 and people actually asked them to add this? because they were like, we can't fit a full build. Some guy posted a thing where he had like 9 polarities and he still couldn't fit the last 2 mods.
Damn.
So they added it because it's like, DE, we have this system for leveling shit to 40, and at the time it was useful on exactly one item, Paracesis. Oh yeah, Sea of Sci-Fi. Oh, Iron Bride, I'm going to meat ride the shit out of this weapon when it comes time to talk about it, because it's way better than people think, but the problem is it's not Void Rig.
Melee modding, so which
was it actually useful on... It was actually useful on Paracesis. The reason for that is with Paracesis, each level you got above 40... I don't remember where it shows this stat. It might be in the unique trait section. It's not...
Probably
yeah, over-leveling.
Usually in the description.
So yeah, 60% damage to sentient. So each time you leveled, you got more sentient resistance, and then at level 40, you got the reset sentient damage resistances stat.
Which at the time was actually kind of useful because the sentients were like a big threat.
The Kuva weapons don't mean shit. Like, the Kuva weapons, leveling them to 40 doesn't mean anything, and it kind of pisses me off. There's no tangible benefit to doing it, other than more mod space, but like, you have to format them 5 times, so not really.
If you want to just leave it at like halfway done, you could potentially save 1 format, but like at that point, just, you know.
I wish that they would give you more elemental damage or something, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Because the mod space to me doesn't even fucking matter, because you're putting 5 Forma on your weapon. You probably don't need it. I don't know. I find like that system is oftentimes just done with nothing.
Also, for some reason, I was convinced the recon effects was the fucking rifle, so I was confused on why the fuck it had 275 rounds in it.
You get mastery for every level. So it's not like you need to reach level 40 to get mastery. You get mastery for levels, 1 to 30 already. But you do have 1,000 mastery locked behind levels 31 to 40. Yeah. Also, Tux, you want to see my bobbleheads? What about my bobbleheads, Tux? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have any bobbleheads. Oh god, wait, oh no. Are you guys seeing this? Trinity, I think, is bugging out. What is that? Hold on. What the fuck? Is that Trinity? I think it is, yeah. The tassels on her helmet are accidentally full-sized.
Hell yeah.
Okay, well, that's a little weird.
My ex used to do the same thing.
You know, it is what it is. I also have a bunch over here. There's a reason this room has no decoration capacity left. How did this get in here?
Huh?
Oh, the beach ball. I agree, yes. This is welcome to the Long Trinity stream. Funko Pop room. I have been demoted to Rentoid. This is my collection of Chunko Pops. I fucking love Cruelty Squad. Killing the Funko Pop enthusiast is so goddamn funny. The Chunko Pop guy. Look, no line in any video game will ever come close to Cruelty Squad, where there's this one guy in the nightclub level that can just say to you, when the beat drops, I'm fucking killing myself. That shit is so fucking funny and so out of nowhere.
Hell yeah.
You know about the Brahma glitch with Cyto 9? Thank you for the 2. I've heard of it. I have not used it myself. Generally, if there's an exploit in the game, I try to refuse to. I don't use it because I don't want to get comfortable with something that's going to get fixed. Not a lot of variety. A person like an incarnate system would help. That could definitely be helpful. Level playthrough when? Someone actually did make that. Would you have a dick pic from Valis? No. Do you think one of his balls is longer than the other? Real and true, real and true.
The inbox has
also, bad news. I've accidentally sat on my balls when sitting back down.
Ew! I me with my balls under the forklift tire. There's Cyto 9. I actually like Cyto 9 a lot. I guess, hold on, I should probably, let's just actually play the game for a second and I'll talk about this. I'm just gonna queue like a random mission.
Yeah, I can invite you to a squad and then we can do those fucking, invasion things real quick.
Oh, I was just gonna play a mission in Holvania real quick to talk about some stuff if we can.
Hey, it'll be here for a while. I can join you then.
Merc Ray Floop. I would love them to add a Floop. Like, you guys know something weird? Does anyone else find it kind of odd that they kind of just stopped doing animal Floops? Like, no Duviri animals got Floops. Lanx never got a floop, and the Lanx has been in the game forever. They just kind of went to like people floops, and I don't like that, honestly. I like the stuffed animals, not the stuffed people. That's weird.
Yeah.
Pizza staring contest. I cannot afford to lose my skin to Blueprint again. You don't understand. Exalted Lanx. I agree. You can do fashion for it. That's true. Yeah, the thing I want to talk about with Site09 and why I played him. I love this guy purely because the way he plays is so different. Because his entire gimmick is shooting people through fucking walls. Like, this shit is sick. Just fuck you.
Oh, can I? Is there a way to fucking buy those fucking like arcane adapters without having to go to Teshin, or do I have to go to Relay for that?
I guess technically a Kritis can sell them, but no, unless you want to buy them for platinum. He gave your skin back. Actually, yes. Hold on. Is Fanged Wisp here? Wisp, if you're here, I'd like to know if I have permission to show the art you drew of this, because it's fucking hilarious. If not, I'll have to get permission for it for another time. But it's so fucking funny. I barely saved my invis there. Holy shit.
Is it just me, or can you not actually, if you pick that one like camo thing that makes it so you have like a glow around, can you not change the color of the glow effect, or is it just me?
I think it's based on your energy color.
I was trying to do that, and it still kept doing that like same like purple sort of fucking color.
I guess I can't say for sure. There's some stuff that's sometimes bugged and doesn't show up until you exit and re-enter the modding screen, but...
of course, that's the thing.
It's like the one login reward gun. It's not the gun itself, it's one of Site09's abilities. They got the bubble wrap on their... Okay. The Dedicants, it's actually their stomach, like, area, or on their back. I can show it here in a second, because the game spawns more, like, Dedicants when you complete a cache.
Where the fuck did all my steel lessons go? What the fuck?
Is it... No, Evelyn, shut the fuck up.
What's she doing now? Oh, God.
Be unique. Yeah, I try to make, I try to minimize overlap in, like, colors or themes. Some of them do have the same colors, but... Bitch.
It sucks to me. This is like he's killing. I feel bad for the bad guys. I don't know, in brackets, I don't know who the bad guy is in this situation.
People have hit me with the classic "the Tenno are evil" actually argument. I remember having a conversation with, I think it was someone in the Discord. It might have been on stream about that. I feel like that argument is just like really stupid. I hate Dedicants. Yeah, even after they got their health halved, they're still finicky as shit.
Guess what? Their heaviest hitters are now on the way.
I work from a strong evil. I can plead ignorance. You know, that's true. Yeah, what I love about Site09 is that camera. The fact that you can see enemies through walls like this is just super cool. Shut the fuck up, Victor. I don't give a single shit.
Save me the bother.
In terms of energy drain, yeah, I some of the guns are. Actually, I think most of them are. Let me think about this. Balefire is per shot, Artemis Bow is per shot, and Noctua is per shot. I think it's only Regulators and Glory that aren't per shot. Yeah, these guys. Their weak spot is this spot on their back. There's also this wonderful bug where the Dedicants will just not stop running from you. I don't know what causes this, but it makes me irrationally angry. Just ignore that happened.
Their numbers are dwindling. We can't stop now. Any survivors will be transferred to a new squad.
You cut out, Nitro.
Fox is asking if the wall hack abilities and shit is also working in PvP.
PvP, no. So Warframe's PvP has not had a new Warframe enter it since Hildren? Someone correct me. Who was the last frame to end up in Conclave? I want to say it was either Hildren or Caliban.
Oh, God.
I might honestly be way off there. But Warframe PvP has Revenant? Is it that old?
Jesus. God damn.
Is that an extermination point thing? They're not supposed to, like, run towards it like this. Do you mean face-off? Not necessarily. They removed Vauban? That's actually pretty funny. The guys. Oh, I've got an Acolyte spawning. What? Dedicant. Yep, there he goes. He's running. He's running. You know what's funny about this?
Yeah.
That's a simple question. Here's the thing. PvP in this game is dead as shit. I'm just gonna like keep it a buck with you, Tux. The developers basically keep it on life support for the 3 people that play it, and no one else gives a shit. Most new Warframes and for the past several years have not been added to it because they don't want to ruin or fuck with it that much.
Citizens, fear not.
When we Conclave playable, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I was Acolyte 1999, Eternalism or some shit, who knows.
Are delivering elite troops to neutralize the Hex.
It sounds like safety's doing that. That's really good. Yeah, roll them out.
What the fuck? This guy's okay. He's tweaking, but
wait, what? The base
Umbra
Umbra helmet
appears
looks
headless.
headless.
Oh, is it bugged right now? Umbra has lost his head off and on through various bugs, like, since his release.
At this point, they just need to change his fucking storyline so he gets beheaded at some point and just say it's a feature.
They just worked for the Sculptor before they met the Stalker? Yeah, real and true.
Specifically
for Conclave. That's actually pretty funny. You just pull up with the no... Dude, they
Tell me
can't...
it doesn't have a hitbox
Snow Day Showdown, it's like so no head.
That's actually busted as shit.
Here they come. I actually have started using Hush on my sniper rifle, because if normally it's loud enough, enemies will all just run right to your exact location when you shoot it. And this gun deals a fucking zillion damage. I'm willing to drop something for a utility mod. Catching up a little bit. Against the first tactical alert. Honestly, there are certain events in this game that I will play because I want the rewards, but I do not enjoy them. And don't do this. I'm just doing this. I'm a completionist. One of them is Snow Day Showdown. I fucking hate Snow Day Showdown. It was fun when they brought it back last year, but I think it's an example of something like Dog Days, where DE makes you play it so much if you want everything, it rapidly stops becoming fun. I have hated Dog Days for years. Do I think they should stop bringing it back? No. I think people should be able to experience it. I just hate playing it.
Just smooth.
That's the last of them. Time to go home.
As in 7 million damage? Yes. I'm gonna shoot this guy's balloon. Oh, there he goes. Where did he go? Okay, well he's gone. Yeah, 7 million. I don't even have that high of a shot combo. I can build this up on the truck real quick. A little bit at least. Like Jade. I do hope that we get a new clan operation in the near future. What can I hit this guy for? He's a Dedicant, so not much. 133. Oh, this is the guy that was running from me earlier. What about you? Oh, that's another Dedicant, isn't it? Yep, I can tell by his body shape. Bitch. The last Orb Mother boss fight? That would be horrible.
I spent all that time loading into a mission just for it to be completed. What the fuck?
Don't do a great tile set in the sky.
You'll do it with 5 seconds left in the fucking match will end.
That was a 10 million. I have bad shot combo. So they fight without abandon. It seems like... So if Fervon must be lethal to people, according to Aui's line about how they're pumping it, like in the demo, she's like they're pumping it through a neighborhood and that's bad for everyone, including civilians. So it seems to me like if Fervon, at least in Warframe, because I think it was called Enferon in Dark Sector, but if Fervon is still bad for people, more so Technocyte. I think that the reason that the Skaldra are like this is because Holvania is an insanely nationalist country, it sounds like. Like, the people in the military are really, really devoted to the cause of, you know, being in the Skaldra.
Phased.
Fluoride and the Hex are all conspiracy theorists? I believe you. Social Moth, I know where you're going with this already. I know you're gonna hit me with the bad dragon.
Bad raccoon.
Albania is just Serbia? Real. They are also religious zealots? Yeah, it seems like it. Victor's straight up fascist? I mean, yeah, pretty much. There was a conversation with Eleanor about, like, how certain language Victor uses to appeal to Holvanian cultural ideals and stuff like that. Make her, like, dedicated to crusades. That could go crazy, for real.
Something, we need to bring back crusades.
Versus the most racist Bosnian. That's true. But continent Slovenia, it's never established. And I'm fine with that, personally. I think that, like, Amir talks about being from the USL on the other side of the world. So, implying that the USL is this game's version of the USA, I think it can be implied that Holvania is probably a European country. Especially with the architecture and stuff like that. A lot of, like, the lore of old Earth in general has been very interesting with the kind of stuff where it's, like, similar to... It's similar to real life, but still meaningfully different. Or high on the juice because it's funny. You know, fair enough. Britannia in the chats. They refer to the Britannic army, but that's, like, where... like, Quincy, Arthur, and Eleanor came from. I don't think Holvania and Britannia are the same place. Then on the map, the mall was in Ukraine? What? That would be interesting, actually. When they added it for Britannicon, but it's pretty Americanized. I mean, oh, when you mean when it was in the... I don't know how reliable that information is in terms of where it's, like, located, but fair enough, I guess. Did the USA annex Canada in this timeline? The USL, because Letty says she's from there too, it seems more like the USL is like if the Spanish conquered the Americas. And like that kind of took its foothold. I guess they... Okay, let's just say that like the cultural influence of that stuff in like Mexico and Central America also extended to the rest of the United States, as opposed to the British influence, it seems like. United States of Latinx? That is not what it means.
No.
Anyways.
Bad.
During the demo/trailer. Yeah, fair enough. United States of Ligma. Is Latin... Okay, so here's the funny thing about that, Latinx. As far as I'm aware, like, you can't pronounce that in Spanish, like, normally. So, it doesn't really work at all, if I'm perfectly honest with you.
It's unironic cultural appropriation. It's ironic, but, like...
You know... With this reworked Earth, real and true. Yeah, also here, I guess I can invite you to do the invasion thing if you still want Nitro.
Sure, I am in a, essay real quick, so...
Sexual assault.
Later.
You can't determine as literal cultural appropriation. I'm not going to come to be an expert on the topic, but that's as far as I'm aware is, yeah, it is not pronounceable in Spanish. As one word, rather. Spanish JFK shot by British name. Real. Literally does not work in Spanish. Yeah, as far as I'm aware, it doesn't. This is beyond the scope of the stream. I'm playing a video game. Like, I guess it doesn't matter that much to me directly because it's not my own heritage, but I just think it's kind of funny. I'm gonna be honest. That's as far as it extends because I think it's funny and stupid.
It's just like the police just call me a slur. Unironically, no fucking
Amir does say what the actual acronym stands for, but I don't remember it off the top of my head. Because I don't understand Spanish. I remember enough from high school to, like, half understand her. Cat boy, son, or dog, girl, daughter, bro, child, neglect. All games are inherently political. Oh, we're about to be hit with the everything is political.
Here it comes.
Here it comes. Here it comes. Batten down the hatches, everyone. I can't enjoy things. I'm not allowed to enjoy things. I have to engage in political praxis at all times. I'm sorry, everyone. I booted up Terraria, but forgot that that's not very Marxist of me.
Nah, no, it's actually decent boxes because we put them in Section 8 housing.
Like the personal choice. I think I picked the one about like all children were raised together. Number one political streamer. I'm gonna overtake Hassan. All I have to do is glorify terrorists. Don't worry, guys. I'll be up there. Glorify terrorists, and we'll get there. Trust.
Red Veil forever. Let's go.
It's colonial propaganda. Real and true.
The sanctuary cannot go on without Biff. I'm sorry, Samaris. I'm sorry. Someday he will return, and that day is when we can finally win the war.
Getting Hex terrorists. I mean, the Hex are terrorists, but like, I don't know. I'm cool with it. Steal content.
There it is.
I'm going to become a political streamer. I'm going to steal content, glorify terrorists, and lie about people I don't like. They're cool terrorists? Yeah, I am sort of like Hassan. Alright, guys. We're going to get... Alright, I have a plan. Listen. We're going to get Hassan to stream Warframe to broadcast the game to a wider audience. All we're going to tell him is that Arthur is a Houthi. Trust me, it's gonna work. And he'll broadcast the game to his audience. We just have to lie about it and say that Arthur is from Yemen. Trust me. It's gonna work. I fucking hate Hassan so much. Anyways.
Unironically, yeah, fuck Hassan.
Feel free to queue the mission whenever.
Sure, one second, I just need to equip my shit because I just finished leveling.
Who that? Hassan... Asking who's Hassan is such a large rabbit hole, I don't feel like I can even explain it. All you have to know is he's a political streamer and a massive idiot. Which, I could have just said political streamer, actually. I don't know why I felt the need to clarify that, but... Dude, look, I try not to get political on these streams, and I don't feel like laughing at political streamers is not inherently political, because even beyond their opinions often being stupid, it has nothing to do with their political, like, compass alignment. I just think they're dumb. Because, like, I like laughing at people like Hassan and Vosh and the Quartering and all them, but it also sucks that they have a real impact on things. Because that is, like, the unfortunate reality of it is that they do have a real impact on things. Yeah. Like, Hassan is pretty much killing Twitch single-handedly if you're a political streamer. Show Vosh Varuna as to market Warframe. All I have to do is show Vosh a Kaith, and he'll download the game instantly, dude. Like, he feels like they don't want to be a lesbian. Damn.
Right, babe, but can you send me your, what's a neutralizer build?
Wow, unreal. We just have to wait for the Neutralizer Exalted video in March. The one I'm currently using is, I'll just post this, sure. Unreal. It's this. Hush is mostly just a thing I have for the sake of not being spotted or like people like flocking to me. But
yeah.
Like, I will say this, regardless of your political opinions, maybe you're on the left like Hassan, maybe you're on the right, maybe you're on the middle. I don't care. I think we can all agree, hopefully, that Hassan is a dumbass.
Yeah.
Is so activist pilled. I think it's, I don't know. You can see political meaning in things as much as you want, but I think that a lot of Warframe's story is not necessarily about anything political. It's about, like, Warframe's story is very personal as opposed to political, I feel like. Like, yeah, there's political elements in any story. That's completely unavoidable. But a lot of it is very personal story. I think 1999 actually pushes that envelope very well. With, like, Duviri for the Drifter, they escaped by, you know, coming to terms with their own problems. And now you extend that experience to helping the Hex through their problems. And I like that they're keeping that theme moving forward. Going to get a Cruelty Squad stream? That would be funny. On hypercapitalism. And I mean the fundamental story of Warframe. Stuff like the Corpus and stuff, there's obvious political meaning in there, but I think that the main plot of Warframe, because the set dressing of Warframe is very, like, you know, the Orokin were an oppressive oligarchy and stuff like that. Like, the set dressing is political, because, spoiler alert, everyone, political worlds try to be immersive, and you know one thing that happens in the real world is politics. So political worlds also have politics in them. But I also feel like it's not something where it's like... The political commentary of something like Warframe is a lot different than something like, like Life is Strange or like Dustborn or something. I think it's not like it's it doesn't feel like it's super self-serving or anything like that.
Yeah. Right, ready, sorry. It was on Kerr, I believe, yeah.
It's like, huh? Yeah, I don't know, it's a complicated topic. Lotus's story arc equals identity politics? Lotus's story arc being identity politics is very questionable to me. Lotus's story arc is more of like the family you grew up with versus the family you choose. That's the kind of thing that it's supposed to be, I feel like. I mean, that's what Jeff said. Warframe taught me genocide is bad. Until we did it, okay. Genocide is bad until we killed the Orkin. Then it was good. So what Warframe actually advertises is killing rich people. And that's something I can get behind.
Killing blue people.
That reminds me of the thing where it's like I hate communists, except Mao killed landlords. Now that's a commie I can get behind. That shit was so fucking funny.
Classic. Also, I can't queue the mission up for some reason, so
What's the current? We have an interception and a mobile defense. I'm picking the mobile defense. That means you're rich? Not really, honestly.
If I have progress in another line, will I still get progress towards my side, or will I have to do 3 more missions on this side?
What?
If I've done 1 mission on the Corpus side and we're picking the Grenadier side, will I have to do 3 Grenadier missions then, or?
You'll have to do 4, because it will count against you. So no, we're switching to Corpus. You probably should have mentioned that.
Thought I did, sorry.
That's the wrong one. Here it is. The interception just takes because I think it might force you to do 2, but Mao killed landlords who are not people. Yeah, that's the thing I'm thinking of, Evelyn. Also, I'm not sure what you're referring to, Pigeon. AI chat summary not popping up. It popped up for me for a second and then went away, which is surprising. Normally, I don't see it. All right, chat. I'm leaving the realm of politics because every time I bring up making fun of Hassan, I always accidentally get political in the unironic sense, and that's not my objective here.
Yeah, well, Hassan does that.
I have Warframe politics to get with you all about real quick. Have you guys seen that Aztecross did a sponsored Warframe video today? Also, Culver's like the restaurant? Yes.
You are going to capture the towers and decode.
But Aztecross did a Warframe video, and I'm scared. So, for those who don't know, Aztecross is an almost 900,000 subscriber Destiny 2 YouTube channel. He's one of the biggest members of that community. And he did a video sponsored by DE to play Warframe. And I don't think Aztecross is a bad guy by any stretch, but I want to make something clear. I am worried about Destiny Warframe, or like Destiny creators moving to Warframe. And there's a reason for this that I want to talk about. So, Destiny content, that content creation landscape, is kind of 2 things, mostly. Guide content and news content. Warframe's community does not need more of that shit. Like, okay, let's start with news. News content is easy as shit to make, and people make it everywhere. And I feel like if people who do Destiny would migrate to Warframe, then the news content is just going to be worse than what we already have. And my rationale for that is pretty simple. They can't provide meaningful commentary because they don't know enough about the game to.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that I kind of want to expand from beyond that. Guide content from people, like in Destiny, right? That's a big part of the community, and the people that make guide content often know a lot about the game. If you're moving to Warframe, people will expect you to keep making guide content, but you don't know as much about the game. Like, there are people that make guides, like Kiai, AZ Invasion, people like that, right? That do really good jobs and are really knowledgeable about things. Like, people bring up Macdix. I haven't watched his videos personally, but from what... He's a Destiny YouTuber who switched to Warframe a while ago. But I heard from Nova, at least, that they're not very good. I haven't watched them myself. I will not make any further comments on them. But my concern still stands that if people, like, migrate from the Destiny community... Let me break this, like, down how I see this. People migrate from the Destiny community because their Destiny streamer or YouTuber or whatever is playing the game. They expect that content creator to continue making the kind of guide they made, or like content they made for Destiny for Warframe. So they expect guide content a lot of the time. These people, though, don't know as much about Warframe, so their guides often are bad and have the potential to spread misinformation. And then when that happens, those people are going to propagate that misinformation, and then you get into the problem of, you know, trying to correct the record versus a community that thinks you're wrong. Here's my thing. Can they learn? Yes, they can, but here's the problem. They still have the pressure to create content while they're learning the game. If they were a Destiny content creator, many of them were into the game before they started making content. They learned the game before that pressure was there. Now if they move to Warframe, the pressure to make content is still there, and they're still going to try and make it as they're learning it. And I think that the problem is that the game is so complicated that it's hard to do that and not fuck up something. Like, dude, I played this game for almost 10,000 hours. I still mess shit up all the time. And I think it's important to, I guess, keep in mind that that could be damaging to people. Like MR5 or 6. I wish that they would, like, it'd be clear that you can turn GIFs off in the settings. But making an impact. As far as I'm aware, Mactic's community has somewhat followed into the... Like, okay, let me kind of put it this way. As someone who's played both Destiny and Warframe a fair bit, Destiny's community is struggling. Destiny is hitting all-time player lows right now. Like, that game is in a bad spot.
Yeah.
People in the Destiny community are looking for their avenue out. So if you have people like Mactix or Aztecross or whoever who are leaving the community for Warframe, I don't think it's unreasonable people will follow them because Destiny's in a bad spot and they're trying to leave.
Good work today. Not only
like I said, Mike, I don't want to, like, shun these people, right? If they're willing to learn the game and, like, sort of integrate with the community, I'm totally fine with them playing it and making content about it. I have no problem with that. My concerns are kind of the twofold thing of, like, the content they provide is not needed. Other people do it better. Like, we don't need more build YouTubers. We don't need more news YouTubers. None of that shit we need more of. You can't eclipse people that are actually good at the game, in my opinion. And then beyond that, right, I'm just worried that they're going to try and make guides and builds and things like that with bad information that will cause problems for their audience. The same jump in gameplay loop. Honestly, maybe they will move. Maybe they will move to Path of Exile too, now that it's coming out. Trying to take our jobs. I'm not concerned with Aztecross or Mactix making Warframe content competing with what I make. Not at all. But my concern is it'll cause problems for their communities. And then, in turn, the wider Warframe community.
Operator, Otis has determined the secrets to
Hydroid? I guess I didn't see that one coming. Typically, it's Urelli that people bring up with that one. Talking about immigration. This is a very different topic, thank you very much.
Yes.
Look, I'm just trying to express my perspective. I would love to, like, talk to or even help out those creators. Like, if someone like... This will never happen, but if someone like Mactix or Aztecross reached out to me and asked me for help on understanding the game or looking over their content, I would happily help them. Because I think that the important thing to me is not gatekeeping the community away from those people. I'm happy that Destiny players will join the game. I love Warframe. Yeah. I think it's way better than Destiny, frankly. But even beyond that, I think that my concern is that if everyone is going into it blind together as a community, there's just a potential that that will cause cascading consequences for people who don't understand the game acting like they do. Reached out to Critical, nothing ever happens. That doesn't... Dude, Critical's massive, though. Like, Aztecross is nearly 1 million subs. Critical's like, what, fucking 20 million or some shit? That is a different scale. For not putting range on Corvex. I'm not gonna lie, I was actually kind of shocked to see that Nova made that video. Calling Corvex the worst Warframe is a fucking insane take. And Nova's really knowledgeable about the game. Like, he's better at it than I am. I was kind of floored to see that video come out. Cross would find Rhino and never play again. People were telling him to play Rhino, and yeah, that's probably what's going to happen. But
capture the towers and remain
you gotta make some,
like, to decode incoming messages.
Also, yeah, Aztecross, I think, did actually watch Legendary Drops video and react to it, which, not a big fan of React content, but he's better than Hassan in regards. I don't think he got up from his chair at any point, so there's that. But bad frame. I'll say this. Do I think Corvex is bad? Fuck no. Do I think he feels unfinished? Yes. I do think that Corvex feels unfinished. He's not bad, it just feels like half of his abilities only do one thing when they should do two. Like, I don't know, without his 4, his pillars don't feel super impactful to me. Disometric Guard is just hideous resistance, but it takes up your screen. Wrecking Wall feels like how his 2 should work. I feel like, is Corvex good? Yeah, I do think that Corvex is really good. I just feel like he feels unfinished.
Yeah.
Okay, I think the thing was thing was not showing up. Also, give him healing. I agree. Giving Disometric Guard healing would be such a huge buff to Corvex. His modding situation is also really convoluted now. Because, like, Corvex wants high range, but he also wants strength if you're using his 2 augment. And those things are somewhat difficult to swing. Like, my Corvex is not nearly as high range as you'd probably think. I am getting distracted and actually dying because I let my invis expire from trying to read.
It happens.
What do we consider the worst Warframe nowadays? Personally, this is going to be considered a strange take. Equinox. I think Equinox is currently, in my opinion, the worst frame in the game. She's still capable. She just feels like everything she was good at, she's gotten beat out at, in my opinion. I don't think that she's even necessarily, like, unusably bad. I just feel like she doesn't feel special anymore. Salus will agree with me on this. I also will say that, like, I think how do I put this? In the past, I would say that a bad frame was like a D tier. I don't think anyone was necessarily unusably bad, but I think we brought the floor up to at least a C or maybe even a B tier in terms of bad.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's, like, the same situation. Like, a lot of old bad frames that have gotten buffed, I don't think we're in the same scenario. Like, bad is, like, unusable levels of bad, right? We're not there anymore, at least. But pronoun power creep, real and true. With Jade existing. Here's the thing, right? I feel like with Equinox, this year, she just got BTFO'd in both of her forms. Like, Styanax beat her shield regen out with Rally Point for Night Form. Dante beat out her ability to spread slash procs. I just feel like Equinox honestly, I think that Equinox needs a full-on rework. I feel like they've kind of pushed her gimmick out of the game because other characters are so much better at it now. Do I think she's unusably bad? No, but I think that she struggles a lot more. I do hope.
The damage numbers of the shots that my fucking neutralizer chains off of, or is it you just have to guess that people die from the damage?
For what? Sorry.
Exalted Sniper. Is there a way to see the damage numbers and make them pop whenever it chains and kills someone? Or
you should see them as purple numbers because that counts as ability damage. My cameras are bugged and not highlighting heads. Damn. Here to glaze Gyre and leave. Honestly, that's based. Gyre's a lot of fun. I still wish they'd give her some augment for her. Like, I know this is a thing I think nobody did a video on disputing. I think Gyre still feels like she works the best with Pillage, and I wish they would give her an augment for her 1 that makes it do something like Pillage. Like, I think it'd be cool if they released an augment for her 1 that drained shields and armor and gave that to Gyre. I think that'd be a cool way to give her, like, her own kind of Pillage. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
See them rework because they don't feel good to play. The weird thing with Atlas and Banshee is they both have 2 good abilities and the rest of their kit sucks. Like, they both have good passives, I guess, but Sonic Boom isn't very good. Soundquake is unusably ass, if you want my honest opinion. For Atlas, Landslide is super strong if you have an Incarnon. Petrify is really good. His Rock Wall sucks. His Rumblers suck. I think they deserve a pass, personally. I'd be furious to have to use 3 augments. Do you really have to use the bowling ball, though? I think the bowling ball is just fun. Roots are in place. Yeah, I feel like if they made Soundquake a one... Like, okay, make Banshees 1. No other changes, make it a one-handed action. It is instantly a way better ability. If it was like Pull, where you could cast it while moving and it doesn't interrupt shooting or reloading or anything like that, it would be immediately way better.
Pretty much, yeah. Trimple is hot.
Or her 4. That could be kind of funny, for thematic reasons. But if all Warframes are good, who will we complain about? As a community, there will always be someone or something. Let's be real here. Like, it's like Syndromes. If everyone is super, nobody will be. The Warframe community finds things to bitch about. They'll find someone to be mad about.
Yeah.
Necros does nothing but loot. I don't agree with that anymore. It's still the most common thing he's used for, but the Eximus rework actually was a big buff to him. Like, his ability as a summoner with reviving things, and like, I think Soul Punch can be used to revive specific enemies even, if you want to kill them with it. I believe it spawns them back as a shadow, yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
So I think that he still has a summoner gameplay loop he can play into. He's got a great armor strip as well. The problem is,
I'm about to put heavy caliber on the neutrals.
Like, looting is the best thing that he's for. Destroys Necros. I don't entirely agree with that, because Caliban has 3 set summons, right? Necros has a unique advantage in that he can take Eximus abilities for himself, which is not something Caliban could do. I think Caliban's better, personally, but I don't think that he's, like, entirely comparable. I mean, I'll complain about one of them. I don't think you hear people complain about Inaros and Hydroid anymore. They're actually both fairly good. Nyx too, honestly. I think, honestly, next up on the docket for a rework, my theory, who's next, is probably going to be Limbo. I think that it's been a long time coming. I think he's probably going to be next. I think should be done with Limbo. Honestly, all I'm going to say is I recommend watching Sci-Fi Freak's video. It's very long, but I think he has a much more informed opinion than I do. Also, Oberon, I think, doesn't deserve a full-on overhaul, but he does deserve a touch-up. Like, his heal, punishing him for healing more of his allies, stuff like that is stupid.
Yeah, like...
Is Loki now the worst for him? I don't think he's the worst. I don't think he's good either, or, like, great. I would like for them to make some changes to him, but I don't think he's bad. The main thing with Loki is you have to be cognizant of the fact that you're not playing to kill things. You're playing to mess with their AI. That's what Loki does. Thinks he deserves a second look. I also think that Chroma deserves a rework. I'm torn between saying I hope he deserves a light rework and I hope he deserves a major one, because I think that, honestly, his 2 and 3 should be the same ability. They have the same timer and everything. That's for requirement. Yeah, I think that Hydroid just feels less necessary now in terms of what he can do, but I think I'm going to stay alive for too much longer, because my brother brought me something to eat. We'll go for, like, a few more minutes, I guess. But
let me get chains, or...
I wish they changed her invisibility. I think the point of that is that there's supposed to be some punishment for being invisible, I guess. Like, Ash and Loki have the fact that they're on a duration, and they... Well, it's like, technically you can stay in invis forever, so they wanted to punish Ivara in some way so that she can't, like, just ignore the whole game. Which is funny, because that's what Cyto 9 does now, honestly. But it would be nice if she wasn't restricted to walking, though. It does take forever.
Yeah.
You got enough food for the class? No, there's like 100 people here. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm actually in my chat covering the viewer metric. How many people are here? 177? Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot. I think you had 200 at some points. So it's just like, yeah.
Bit of survival and defense. That's... okay. Before we leave, I'm about to do something that many people will probably find somewhat contentious. You guys want... okay. We're going to talk about a Warframe. I want people to guess, who am I going to talk about that might be contentious? You can see them on screen right now. Who am I about to talk about that might be contentious? What are your guys' thoughts? Who do you think it's going to be? I don't know how bad the stream delay is right now. But I'll pick them when the first person guesses it. Lavos, no, but I could. A lot of guesses for Lavos, actually.
Huh.
I'm surprised it's taking this long. It's Kome. Kome is a very divisive Warframe. But this is kind of what I want to talk about. Lavos... Okay, here's what I'm going to say, because people have been saying Lavos. Lavos is really good, especially with Valence Formation. Reb was in front of her. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, this wasn't your fault, guys. I completely forgot that Reb is on the screen. Never mind, I'll take the L on that. Here's what I want to say about Kome, actually. So, this is kind of an indirect... How do I put this? I'm not trying to shit-talk Nova Umbral when I talk about Kome, but I do think that some of the stuff... Because he has a video that talks about Kome that I think kind of... How do I say this without sounding like a dick? Because I generally agree with him on most of it, but I feel like he kind of misses the point in a capacity. So, I want to make one thing clear. Kome, in my opinion, is good. The problem is that Kome requires... Or she's only good in one specific context. She's only good in endless missions. Everywhere else, she just feels like shit to play because she doesn't have any time to snowball. So, the reason I bring this up is because I feel like pointing out that Kome is only good in endless missions should not be news to anyone, right? She's good in endless missions. And I feel like a lot of Nova's video focuses on that. But there's just one step further I wish that people would take in the Kome discussion that no one ever does, which is, yes, Kome is only good in endless missions. Should she be, though? That's the thing no one ever gets to. Should we have a Warframe who's only good after an hour in the same mission? Because, yes, you can state the obvious that she's good after an hour, but should that be a thing? Should she exist in that capacity? Because I feel like that's the thing that nobody ever gets to when they talk about her, and it just kind of bewilders me. Because, like, is Kome weak? No, but the problem is you have to get to the point where you played in the mission for so long, most people will find her weak, because most people don't play for that long in a single mission. And fair enough, playing, like, if you have a full-time job or something, why would you be playing in one mission for an hour? You have more shit to do with your time. You have limited time for these things, right? Like, Kome feels weak in certain environments because her entire point is to scale in endless missions. But should that be how she works? And if you want my opinion, the answer is no. I feel like, I don't know, that's kind of the issue that I feel like with a lot of Kome discussion, because, like, the discourse around Kome is toxic as fuck, and it pisses me off. People who are, like, talking about how she's, like, cope mid, and anyone who likes her doesn't understand basic frame design, all of those people are just mean, and I don't like that. You can disagree with people about a video game and not be a total dick about it, or act like you're superior to them. But I feel like the, my issue with Kome is that, like, if you like endless missions, she's super fun. I played a conjunction survival with Kome for 3 hours because I was just having fun with her the entire time. But the problem to me with it, at least, is that nobody ever brings up that point of the discussion is, yes, Kome's insanely good in endless missions. Like, Kome looks... by the time I had hit the 3-hour mark, she genuinely looked like she was overpowered. Like, I was killing entire rooms of enemies on accident. But that's the question becomes then, should she exist in that capacity? And then, let's take that question further. Okay, so Kome exists in this fashion, but we're giving her to new players. Does anyone else find that kind of weird? Like, we're positioning... Like, Kome is positioned so early in the game that it is incredibly realistic she'll be your second Warframe. Jeez. Because she crafts in a day, she's one of the earliest locations that you can get, her mission's designed to be new player facing. So, we're giving new players a Warframe who's only good, really, or really shines at the very least, in missions that they are not playing for that long, because that's not on their priority list. If I'm a new player, my goal isn't to spend an hour in a survival mission, it's to play through the star chart. And I find it bizarre that we've got Kome positioned so that she's really early, but designed for late game players. Especially because, yeah, mods don't affect Kome that much. And I feel like it's just everything about her is so weird. I feel like the way that they made Kome was made with late game play in endless missions on the Steel Path in mind. And then they went back and put her way too early in the game. I feel like Kome being positioned there is just bewildering to me. I think that Kome's super fun when you're playing in the environment she excels. I also think that she has issues in that environment too. Namely, I think that the cooldown on her too should start when you get the challenge, not after you finish it.
Yeah.
Alongside plenty of other things. I don't think it'd be overpowered to let Kome pick one of 3 decrees or something like that. I really don't think it would be overpowered. Because it would make her better in short missions, because she would have more control. But in endless missions, it'll all shake out to the same shit eventually, right?
Ideally, yeah.
I feel like my concern, I guess, with Kome is kind of it's twofold. One, should a Warframe that only excels in endless environments exist? At least in the capacity Kome does. Because I do think that she basically requires endless missions to feel fun, at least to me. And then 2, should we be giving a Warframe who functions that way to new players? Especially so early. And even beyond this, Higasa got fucking murdered by how early it is in the game.
Oh, absolutely, good lord.
Too easy to farm again. Here's my thing. I genuinely think that early on in the game, Kome is good for nothing that most new players will actually be trying to do, and that's my problem with her. Saying that, like, well, yeah, she gets better later, but then why are we getting her early to new players specifically? Because she isn't just available to get early. She is specifically targeted at new players, but she's not designed with them in mind. And I feel like designed for Circuit back when Duvir was a game start, maybe? I don't know. I feel like, once again, I think Kome is fun, and I think she's good. The problems more for me is she's only good in a very specific environment that new players will not be playing in. She crafts faster than ever. Yeah, she crafts in one day. She's that targeted at new players. And so that's kind of my thing with Kome, I guess. I feel like she's only a frame you can really get the most out of at higher levels of play, but at the same time, she's given to you way earlier than she's useful. And I feel like specifically targeting her towards a demographic that cannot take advantage of almost any of her potential is kind of bewildering. The issue, on some level to me, is that DE basically responded to very little feedback from her update because they were working on 1999, so I don't expect it to ever really get changed. Despite the massive amount of talk about Kome, they didn't do anything, which shocks me, other than like a few miscellaneous things here and there. Kind of dumb. Yeah, I feel like the concern too is it's difficult to know how her stuff works because they don't know how the status system works. And it's motivation to learn it, maybe, but she doesn't explain it to you necessarily.
Yeah, no.
I also think tripwires have a cooldown on damage. Her tripwires in general are a weird ability, honestly. I don't know, that's kind of... I just wanted to get that rant out, because I feel like 6 extra threads to her 1's cap. And they did change the decree to be parallel with its damage, but yeah, Kome did not change as much as I feel like she should have for the amount of controversy that she was steeped in. Should be lower to work better in short missions. I think they should definitely at least start lower. Also, everyone talking about Lavos. Lavos is good. I'm sorry. I'm gonna disagree with Sab when he said in his most recent, like, his Cyto 9 video that Cyto 9 is the better, or, like, the cooler Lavos. Nah, Lavos is too cool by himself. Especially with Valence Formation, this guy slaps. Lavos is a very fun Warframe that I highly recommend. Bro goes crazy for real. Actually, how close am I to getting, what is the status one? I cannot type. I'm doing this with one hand. Yeah, Impetus. I'm excited to get this one for him. People smoking? I'm gonna be honest, as far as I've heard, a lot of it comes from Brozyme. Though he has changed his opinion since the release of, Valence Formation. One hand? Yeah, because I'm fucking using my mouse to navigate stuff on my other monitor a lot of the time. Is he talking about? I don't know, like, you're welcome to not like Lavos' gimmicks. I think that Lavos' gimmicks are awesome. Like, I'm in the weird camp with this. I think his cooldowns make him more fun. I like juggling them. I think it's cool. I also like, you know, his energy orb interaction, his status duration, and efficiency interactions. I think he's just a cool frame. What stuff? I have a bunch of shit running my stream open. What the fuck do you think? You think I'm jacking off on stream or something, you dumbass? Mogged Thraxes with Oberon, don't ask how. That's forbidden knowledge, I imagine, Nova, but thanks for stopping by. Is a love it or hate it character. I love it, I understand those who don't. Yeah, I think that a lot of people shit talk Lavos because they feel like he's uncomfortable to play, but I think that's honestly a matter of preference on some level. Helping me feel powerful between forecasts. Being a 30-second cooldown. I'm gonna be honest, I actually think that hit being such a long cooldown is fun. Like, I think that his 1 being 8 seconds feels excessive, but I like his 4 being on such a large cooldown, because it makes, like... You have to juggle your abilities to optimize using your 4, and I like that. Like, use the 3 to reduce the cooldown, use your 1 with the augment to knock your 3's cooldown down, and your 4 even further. I like stuff like that. I think that Catalyze being 30 seconds does, like, he can't blow up a whole room instantly like Saren, but who gives a shit if you want my honest opinion. I think he's more fun when you have to work for it.
Isn't no one having no fucking, like, decoration space in the back rooms, or?
Not that I'm aware of.
I've placed on one thing, and it says I'm already out of space in every room, it looks like.
That's probably a bug.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you as well. Thank you for stopping by. Also, yes, I do use the Ceto. I absolutely love this gun. It does feel kind of necessary for his 4, but harder to manage. Yeah, a lot of Warframes honestly suffer in multiplayer. Like, Kome suffers in multiplayer. I think Cyto 9 suffers in multiplayer, because getting headshots for him becomes way harder to keep his invis up. But Harrow struggles. There's plenty of frames that I think can struggle in that environment. Gotta spam 1. I talked about this in a video, but I would highly recommend if you're having any issues with tanking, Mecha Pulse is ridiculously good on this guy. The Mecha set in general is super good on Lavos, but I love Mecha Pulse. It makes him surprisingly hard to kill. Then it gets a decent proc, at least. How is that mod set? It comes from Fortuna. So the big thing with the mecha set, and what makes it so good on Lavos, maybe you can see this. Let me just put it here so it's bigger. Companion marks a target every 15 seconds for 12 seconds. Killing the target applies their status effects to all enemies within 30 meters. This, on top of stuff like Contagious Bond, is insane, especially on characters like Lavos. It is really, really good. Like, your dog will randomly, like, say you have an enemy who's marked by Contagious Bond, and then you throw out your 4, and it kills the enemy marked by it, or not Contagious Bond, sorry, the Mecha mark. If an enemy dies to your 4 with the Mecha mark, they will then propagate your 4 again to all enemies in the range, which is really powerful. I love the Mecha set on Lavos. I can't remember who it was. A chat member actually suggested that, and I have never gone back. It is a really fun way to play him. Pizza. The Chitza has arrived.
Pizza.
Beak. Yeah, this Tenogen skin for Lavos is so fucking good. Like, Lavos' #1 struggle was never that he was underpowered or his cooldowns or any of that shit. It was that he was ugly. But now, he goes insane. He's got the fucking Plague Doctor gas mask combo on. Between things, yeah, Warframe is incredibly complicated, but that's part of why I enjoy it. CH from Chitza. I've always pronounced it Mecha, but I don't know. That's just me, I guess. Is the buff Concentrated Arrow? I don't know if you've seen my video about it, Chroma, but there are actually a few more things with Concentrated Arrow now. Even post-Eclipse nerf, my Avara actually still uses it, but a big buff to it was the release of this guy here, Crepuscular. This arcane helps it a lot, and then I still have Combat Discipline on. Whoops! That was because I was messing with something. Worthy Camaraderie. And then I think I had on Rage? I think. Ethically sexual skin for Lavos. But yeah, the main thing I do with Boombo, honestly, the main strat is this. I've tested it with Acuity. I don't like it as much, but I do quite like this kind of setup. I guess I actually probably wouldn't need Rage. We'll work on it. We'll work on it. I don't think there's much I can put here other than, like, Energize, really. Ethically sexual in real? Real and true. Is this ethically sexual? Yes or no? Is the Cool Kid 369 YouTube channel ethically sexual? Tad bit more flexible than Prowl. The thing is, Prowl gives her a headshot multiplier, which is actually really helpful, specifically for concentrated arrow. The Cheetah. There it is. Well, I'm going to grab something to eat, so I think I'm going to go ahead and pull the plug on the stream here once we hit the 2-hour mark in like the next 30 seconds. But thank you all for stopping by. Hopefully Hysteria's episode is going to be out next week is the goal, next week sometime. I want to try and do one Exalted video a week. My plan is to start on the script and research and all that stuff tomorrow. But my hope is that series... I hope early analytics aren't how it's going to go, because so far, the Exalted Blade episode and the intro video are both doing remarkably bad in terms of viewership, and I hope that's not a death knell for the entire series. Like, to put this in perspective, my April Fool's video, it did better than they are doing right now. So I hope that this isn't the death of either, or the death of them. But Hysteria will be next, and we're going to just try and work through the melees over the course of January is the goal. So, Railjack supportability tier list. Actually, fun fact, that has been an idea I've been planning on working on for, like, the past 2 years.
Yeah.
The problem is I was originally going to make it with someone I'm no longer friends with, and I just never got around to revamping the concept. But
yeah. They
were great. I hope they don't flop. Yeah, anyone who's watched them, I hope that you enjoyed them. They certainly took a lot of effort, because it was a struggle to like get through my mind how I made a video like that, because I've never made something like them before. But well, the intro video I've kind of made stuff like, but the Exalted Blade video specifically was hard to get my head around how do I approach this topic. But Hysteria will be next. I think after that it'll be like Iron Staff, and then probably Desert Wind, and then Exalted Shadow, I think is the order I'm going to work with for now. But I'm going to go ahead and go. Hope you all have enjoyed that. New content soon, or whatever the fuck. Discord's in the description. VOD playlist is in the description. Eat your vegetables. Look both ways before crossing the street. Be sure to floss whenever you brush your teeth. And I'm out of here. See ya.